When it comes to the US credit card market, you have brands such as The Points Guy, one of the most popular blogs regarding credit cards, points and miles, and how to travel for free. We also have Ask Sebi, YouTube's largest credit card content creator, and they have a blog as well. Meanwhile, in the north, in the Canadian market, we have Ricky Zhang and team, aka the Prince of Travel. Starting off as a blog community, they've since expanded to become Canada's largest YouTube channel regarding credit card and travel related content. They've hosted multiple events on how to best redeem your points and miles to travel the world. This is me sharing my journey as a first-time attendee to Prince of Travel's most recent event, and later on in the video, I'll also share how I utilize points and miles to book this end-to-end journey. Here we start off from the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, DFW. Here we go, on the way to meet Ask Sebi, Mandy Romes, as well as Prince of Travel at Prince of Travel's credit card event in Vancouver, Canada. My first time going to Vancouver. After a quick security line lasting minutes, I headed straight towards the lounges located Terminal D at DFW Airport. First, one near and dear to my heart, the Capital One Lounge, where I enjoyed some light snacks, drinks, and a supremely refreshing time utilizing the amenities with extremely low wait times. Just got in the shower, got the shave as well. Next up, we got the Amex Lounge at DFW Airport. Contrary to the speed of everything at the Capital One Lounge, I actually skipped out on the Amex Lounge given the wait time just to get in. Similarly, there was a wait at the lounge named The Club at DFW, and with that and the boarding time approaching, I headed to the SkyTrain to get to our terminal for our flight. Our journey took a couple legs of travel to get to Vancouver, and after a quick flight with one of my favorite combos in the world, called chai and biscuits or coffee and biscuits, we landed at the infamous Las Vegas airport. Although there was no option to go non-stop from DFW to Vancouver, needing to stay 12 hours for a layover in Las Vegas was definitely not one of the worst outcomes. From getting off the plane at the Vegas airport, to taking an internal train to ground transportation, and then taking a taxi to get to the Strip, honestly, what felt the longest was when arriving at MGM's Excalibur property was the journey to get to the room, which felt like it was going to be even longer than the total journey to Vancouver, but before you know it, the morning had arrived. Taking a quick lift ride from the property to the airport, breakfast and caffeine was definitely indulged upon at the Club Lounge at the Vegas airport. A quick back-to-back between food, drink, and boarding our Air Canada flight from Vegas to Vancouver, I had finally landed in our neighbor's territory. With me landing at around 10 a.m. local time in the AM, having the capability to check in earlier to our room at the Westin made the whole day and overall experience that much better, given ample time for me to get settled, freshen up, and plan out for the next couple days ahead. This was like the rest day before Prince of Travel's event, which would be tomorrow, and I took advantage of getting to see some sights around the city, eat some spectacular food, and get some decent rest before the most exciting day I've been looking forward to. Leaving the Westin at Vancouver International Airport, on the way to the Versante Hotel for Prince of Travel's event. Walking over from the Westin to the venue location being the Versante Hotel was a quick 5-minute walk, and from there, the whole day felt like a dream. Stay tuned because I'll be going over how I booked this journey end to end later on in this video. From getting to break bread together with the man who opened my eyes to everything points and miles, Ask Sebi, who changed my life, and having the opportunity to chat with his partner in crime, Mandy Romes, once more, and overall discussing through a multitude of miles and point strategies to maximize earning and redeeming capabilities was priceless. It definitely was a life-changing experience to witness Vancouver for the first time, with multiple moments of knowledge sharing, consistently surrounded by intelligent and kind folks, all on a similar wavelength of making the most of what's in front of you. I'm so grateful to Ricky Zhang, the Prince of Travel, and his entire team for taking the effort to put this event together, having it run seamlessly, arrange for everything a part of the experience, from a seaplane journey to an island off the coast, an evening of dinner and drinks, a priceless ferry ride during sunset back to shore, followed by a limo ride back to downtown Vancouver, and talks late into the following morning of pure brilliance and great laughter. Waking up the next day was seeing some great sights, both in the city as well as in nature, with some of the folks from the event. Time flew by and it was already time to head back to the YVR Vancouver airport, taking Alaska Airlines this time to arrive at our final destination of Atlanta. I had a quick bite at the Plaza Premium Lounge in YVR, with a quick layover in Seattle, where I got to go to the Amex Lounge before they closed shop, kicked me out essentially, and then I went on to board my flight. I passed out the whole journey with the whole road to myself and woke up in a dream state, not believing what a great couple days I had the opportunity to experience. Ricky and his team don't just come to fruition without some heavy effort, coordination, planning, and more to achieve what they have thus far. and what's to come. Simply put, I'll plan accordingly for the next event, and this definitely won't be the last time I'll be meeting the Prince of Travel. This is how I booked this journey with the mix of points and miles, and also go over how I got certain lounge accesses, as well as certain cards I used for their certain perks and benefits to help me along this whole international trip. Starting off with the DFW airport, how I got into the Capital One Lounge was with the Capital One Venture X. Although we didn't go to the Amex Insurance Lounge, it would have been by having the Amex Platinum. And with the club at DFW, it would have been with Priority Pass. Both the Capital One Venture X and the Amex Platinum have the benefit of Priority Pass, and I also have the Chase Sapphire Reserve, which the benefit of it is also Priority Pass, where we would have got the same level of lounge access in this situation. Getting from Dallas to Vancouver was a two-part flight, from Dallas to Vegas and then Vegas to Vancouver. The leg from Dallas to Vegas, it was actually a cash booking. But me having the American Airlines Red Aviator card by Barclays Bank, one of the perks is having free baggage. Spirit and Frontier are definitely a lot cheaper in general, but having this free baggage and me wanting to bring certain items along with me for the journey made perfect sense in this situation. Further, if I used miles and points versus cash, it would have been a non-optimal redemption for me from how much value I was getting per mile spent for this flight. Simply put, to go from Dallas to Vegas, if we're talking around 40,000 American airline miles, I can go from here, America, one way to India in economy with that same number of miles. So it definitely made sense for me to use cash versus burning my American airline miles for this use case. After arriving in Vegas, I stayed at the Excalibur located on the Strip. The Excalibur is an MGM property, and more importantly, they're partnered with Hyatt's loyalty program, and me going through a status match challenge to achieve globalist status was one of the primary reasons I chose this property. Another reason is just me having some familiarity by going there a few months ago for the first time, and overall, in terms of everything, how I redeemed for this night, there was a choice to pay with Hyatt points. The cost would have been 9,000 Hyatt points, which with me valuing them at 2 cents per point is roughly worth around $180. I was able to get this night in cash around the $100 region, so for me, I purposely didn't use my Hyatt points, and instead I paid cash for this. And when I mean cash, I mean not using my points, and in this situation, I used the Chase Sapphire Reserve, where you're getting 3x ultimate reward points on all travel expenditure. Before moving forward, the flight that I booked from Dallas to Vegas was specifically booked with my Amex Platinum, where you're getting 5x membership reward points per dollar spent for flights directly booked with the airline. I got the free bag by having the American Airlines credit card, but I didn't need to check out with it to have that same benefit of one free bag. Waking up the next morning to get to the airport, I took a Lyft, and this was very purposeful because the Chase Sapphire Reserve has 10x points per dollar spent on all Lyft purchases. Further, you can connect your Lyft account to other travel loyalty programs. In my situation, I connected it to Alaska Airlines, so for every dollar spent on Lyft that I was doing organically regardless, in the background, I was getting 1 extra Alaska airline mile per dollar spent on Lyft. After landing at the Vancouver airport, I did take a Lyft again to get to the Westin, and at the Westin, how it was booked, specifically from an actual dollar amount, it would have been, let's say, $600 to $700 Canadian. In US dollars, you're still talking around $500 per night. If you were going to the event, there was a special rate negotiated with the Westin, where it'd be around that 300s Canadian dollar region, which is almost like 50% off. How I booked this night was using a free night certificate from one of my credit cards. The Marriott Rewards Premier Business Card, it's discontinued at this time by Chase Bank, yet one of the perks is that every year, it has an annual fee of $95, and you get a 35,000 point certificate without any need of doing even $1 of spend. And in this situation, the night costs 44,000 points, and how Marriott's program works is essentially that if you have a night certificate, you can top it up with 15,000 additional Marriott points for a redemption. In other words, that 35,000 certificate plus 9,000 of my own points was how I got this night essentially for free. If you have certain Chase or American Express credit cards, you can take those points and transfer them to Marriott's program. For me, I transferred 9,000 membership reward points to Marriott's program. After the event had concluded, yet it's still being my first time in Vancouver, I wanted to see specifically by being in the heart, the center of downtown Vancouver, what it was like. Staying at the Holiday Inn Vancouver Center downtown, when it comes to a Holiday Inn, usually I don't think that it's that expensive or like a top class, top tier type of hotel. And how much it would have cost if it was cash is we're talking upwards of 300 plus US dollars. $300 for a Westin, I understand, but for a Holiday Inn, you know what I'm saying? I booked this night by using one of the perks of the IHG Premier credit card by Chase. For the $99 annual fee it charges, every year you get a certificate night worth up to 40,000 points. This redemption was 52,000 points, and so using that certificate plus 12K of my own IHG points was exactly how I booked this night. Departing from Vancouver to Plaza Premium Lounge, it was actually an array of cards which allowed you access to them. So whether you had the Capital One Venture X or the Amex Platinum, you were able to get in. From Vancouver, my final destination being Atlanta, there was a layover in Seattle. The Amex Centurion Lounge in Seattle, by having the Amex Platinum, was how I was able to get in. To go from Vancouver to Seattle, Seattle to Atlanta, it was all made in one booking and purposely paid with cash versus points. And I took Alaska Airlines because of the perk with having their credit card by Bank of America of having one free check bag. With many of the cards I discussed, you do have credits towards Global Entry / Nexus / TSA PreCheck, which gets you expedited access through security lines. Here's a couple more items. When it comes to credit card acceptance, depending on where you're trying to spend, for example, if you're in Chinatown, whether that's in Vancouver or generally speaking worldwide, American Express just isn't really accepted. In these cases, it's good to have cards from other issuers. Let's say there's some cash only places or you're trying to spend cash in that country's currency. For me, when I went to Vancouver, I took advantage of my Charles Schwab debit card. With this card, you have free ATM withdrawals. They do charge you at the instance when you're withdrawing, yet at the end of the statement / the month, they'll reimburse whatever amount of fees that you would have been charged. You can also swipe just like you're spending on a credit card. You can use this just like you're spending on a debit card, and the rate, it's at Visa's rate that day for, let's say in this case, $1 to $1 and vice versa. Whether it's perfect or not is debatable, yet you'll get as close as you can. From multiple data points, whether it's Visa or MasterCard, you may not be charged that exact rate what you may find online, but when you spend on American Express, you actually do get that quote unquote perfect rate. With the American Express Gold Card, which is my preferred card of choice to spend on, you get 4x at restaurants, not just in the US, but worldwide. This is the first time I've made this type of video, so I want to end it in a classic fashion, similar to the videos I've made earlier on in the channel with the beatbox outro. If you want to see how I earned over $100,000 plus in rewards from credit cards, check out this video here. With that, let's see the next one. Peace.